welcome back. So today we'll be talking about the conditional access. So what is conditional access and why do we use it? So basically it's an if and then statements. So if a user wants to access a resource, then they must complete a certain action. So as you can see in the diagram here, there are signals. So in which there is user location, device, applications, as well as real-time risk. So based on these particular signals, we have to take a decision. So for instance, let's say he's using some particular device, then you have to perform some multi-factor authentication, or we can allow the access. And if there is a risk associated with this particular application, then block the access. And then we have to enforce this particular policy into our applications. So this is what the basic idea about the conditional access is. In this video, let's go ahead and perform some conditional access, and let's see how to do that. So basically you have to go to the Azure Active Directory. So click that. In the Azure Active Directory, go to the under manage section, and here you have a section called security. So click that. So here is the documentations related to the conditional access. You can click this and learn more about the conditional access. However, in this case, we'll go to the product section in which we have conditional access. So click that. So here we have some conditionals as well as some controls. Let's see what they are. So when any user is outside a company's network, they require to sign in with multi-factor authentication. Or when a user is in the managers group, sign in, they required to be on an Intune compliant or a domain joined device. So this is what the basic idea about the conditional access. For instance, if this condition satisfies, then you have to perform this particular operation, which is multi-factor authentication. So this is what it is. So let's go ahead and create a new policy. So you can see there is a section called new policy. So click that. So we'll be adding a policy. In this case, let's add MFA. And here right now we have 0 users for the workload, as well as there is no cloud application which has been associated with this. So there is a conditionals as well as access controls in which we will be granting the access. So first let's go ahead and select the users group. So in this case we have options to include all the users, or we can select a user, or we can just select nothing in this case. But in this case we'll go ahead and add users and groups. So these are different people in our directory. So let's go ahead and select Mark in this case, and I'll just select him. If you want to add the groups, you can do that, but in this case I'm just restricting to a particular person according to the docs. And the next one is you have to select the cloud applications. So in this case, click that. You can select all the cloud applications, and everyone should let's say for instance this particular user wants to access some of the other cloud, then you have to perform MFA. That we'll be doing in next few seconds. But in this case let's select Office 365, and let's select him. So it's done. We have selected a user, and we have also selected a cloud application which is Office 365. And once that is done, let's go to the conditions. So click that. So these are the different conditions that we need to keep. So the first one is locations. So if we check the location, okay, configure, and you can click any location. So you can access from any location in this case, or you can exclude the locations as well. So in this case I'm just clicking any location. And coming to the access, so you can also add the other one as well, but in this case I'm just restricting to these locations. And coming to the access controls, we have grant. So if you click that, you can see we can block this access, or we can grant the access. So since we have selected this location, like it's just any location, or you can if there is user risk, let's say it's a high, then we can block it. So similarly like that, even we have sign in risk as well. So based on that, if that is a high risk, you can block it according to the access controls that we have seen. So since we just added only locations, so even like if we are from any location, we have to use multi-factor authentication, and only then you can grant access. So this is how you can select it, or you can select the other one as well, but I'm just restricting to this multi-factor MFA authentication, and just click select. And once everything is done, make sure that you have to enable this policy. If you don't enable this, it will not work. So make sure you keep it on, and then you have to create it. So before that, you can just verify your policy that you have created, and then you can just create it. So you can see we have got an error which says that security defaults must be disabled in order to enable this conditional access policy. So let's perform that. If we go back to the Azure Active Directory, here we have a properties section under manage, click that. And here we have a section called manage security defaults, click that. So right now we have there is a security defaults enabled, so make sure you click no, and in this case add my organization is using conditional access, and save it. So it is done, and now let's try to create it. So now we have we'll be successfully creating this conditional access. So let's create this. So let's refresh a bit. So in this case, I'm just adding one more time policy, and the user in this case would be Mark, as we have selected. So click that. You can also select any group if you want. Coming to the cloud apps, select app in which we have Office 365, select. And coming to the conditions, we have the start location, yes, any location, done. And coming to the grant access, we have to use multi-factor authentication. Click select, done, and make sure you click on, like enable policy, and click create. So you can see we have successfully created the MFA policy. Now let's try to log into Office 365. So before that, let me copy the UPN of this particular user, which is Mark. I think I have is it password? So let me reset this password, and so you can see we have got an option called more information is required. So if you go next, you can see we are prompting to multi-factor authentication. Usually if you check the previous videos, like there will be an option called skip for 14 days, but in this case for sure we have to use multi-factor authentication because that is what we have specified in our conditional access, where even if that is from any location, he is to use multi-factor authentication. So this is how you have to use the conditional access policies. I hope you guys have understood the concept of conditional access policies. So in this case, you just need to go back and you just need to set up the account. You have to scan this code in your authenticator, and there will be a code generated, and then you can proceed further. So let me do that. So you have to just add an account and just scan this. So I'm right now scanning this one. So it's done. You can go next, and here there will be a code generated. So right now I got a message where it says approve or deny. So in this case I'm just approving it. So I have approved it. So now it will be going to the next stage. So you can see the notification has been approved, and you can go next, and this can just be done, and you can use the current password and new password because we have just reset the password right now. So this is how you have to proceed for the conditional access. I hope you guys have understood the concept of today's video. So I'll be keeping the relevant videos in the description for you to watch. If you've liked the video, please click the like button below. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe to my channel, and please share the video. Thanks everyone.